Hey guys, it's Libby. So on the one hand, this is my March wrap-up. On the other hand, I only read one book in March, so it's kind of just a review of Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. This book is a bit of a chunker, but it's not super long. It's under 600 pages and the font size is, reasonable. But mainly I finished Anne Veronica at the beginning of March and was able to squeeze it into my February wrap-up, and now I've gotten most of the way through The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, but I haven't finished it yet, so that's going to be part of my April wrap-up, so this is the only thing I've got. So this is the first Kate Atkinson that I've read. She's written quite a few, and I heard about this first on BookTube, and I was like, yes, I need that. That sounds amazing. So this is about a woman named Ursula Todd. I say woman, most of the time she's a child. And in the prologue, it's Berlin, 1930, and she shoots Adolf Hitler. Then, in chapter 1, she is born but dies because she is strangled by her umbilical cord because the doctor couldn't get there in time. Then, in chapter 2, she is born and does not die because the doctor did get there in time and was able to untangle her from the umbilical cord. And then in the next chapter, she makes it a little bit further until she dies. And so, what's basically going on is that Ursula, it's like her destiny to kill Hitler or something. And so the universe keeps like failing and has a really hard time keeping her alive. And so it has to reorganize itself starting in 1910 to get her, to get her to 1930. And at first she keeps not being able to kill Hitler because she dies too soon, but it does take other paths. Like sometimes she doesn't kill Hitler because she kind of ends up being a Nazi. One time she isn't able to kill Hitler because she deals with some sexual abuse, and this sort of sends her off on an alternate path with like an abusive husband, and she isn't able to like fulfill her destiny. With this sort of format, you are at risk of the beginning getting repetitive because she just is born over and over again. But Kate Atkinson sort of, for the really repetitive scene, sort of jumps you around to different perspectives and gradually progresses the story of the night of Ursula's birth. So that's not too bad. And then there are a fair number of other characters to keep track of. There's Ursula's parents and her eventually 4 siblings, other people in the village, the house staff, and her home. And a couple of times I would restart Ursula's story and then be like, wait, who is that guy? But I always eventually sorted it out. And once you get used to it, all of the secondary characters are really interesting. I know I liked watching Ursula's mom, Sylvie, sort of transform through the books, through the story, because I quite liked her at the beginning. But as she gets older, she becomes kind of awful. This is definitely a book for people who are fans of Downton Abbey. There's a lot of characters sort of interacting all with each other. Also, it's set from like 1910 to it gets to like 1967 once, but mainly 1910 to sort of 1940. We do spend a fair amount of time in 1918 because the universe has a really difficult time getting Ursula through the influenza epidemic. And then we also spend a fair bit of time in London during the Blitz. And I have to say, normally London during the Blitz stories are like total snooze fests to me, but I did like the way Kate Atkinson covered it. There are only 2 parts where I wasn't really enjoying myself in the story. One is right in the middle. It happens when Ursula is married to her awful husband, and he's not physically abusive at the beginning. He just sort of keeps her cooped up, and she leads a very dull, monotonous lifestyle. And because that's what her life is like, that's what the book is like. I was kind of bored, and I was like, when are there going to be things? And I do think it's a sign of a good writer when they can make you directly feel, or when they can make you feel the same things that the main character is feeling, but the main character is feeling them because of the events of the story, and you are feeling them because the event in your life of reading the story. Does that make sense? I do like it when authors can do that. It's just kind of unfortunate when the feeling is boredom. But it didn't last too long, and we did eventually get out of it. And then right at the very end, like the last chapter, it was a little bit, what? It's not that the last chapter, like, ruins the stuff that happened before. It's just that it doesn't really have anything to do with it. And so I was kind of confused, and it made the ending as a whole, I guess, anticlimactic. But I did enjoy the journey, even if the destination was a bit wah. So I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I have to say though, I am not like filled with inspiration to go read everything Kate Atkinson has ever written though. I think I'm going to take it on each of her other books on a case-by-case basis. If you've read this book, let me know what you think, because opinions do seem to be divided. And then that's all we got for this wrap-up. I'm going to go back to my reading of The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, and also I'm listening to the audiobook of Great Expectations, which is like a 32-hour audiobook or something, so I've got a lot of that to get through. Might not even finish it in April. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again later.